Today I'm going to show you how to set up an uploading button to upload media files into a database using Velo. What's up, you guys? Thanks for tuning in with your boy Nino from Creatively Nino. And I got a tutorial for you guys today on how to set up an uploading button to upload media files into a database using Velo. So basically what you want to do here first is start off with your dev mode, and you want to turn that sucker on, okay? And then you want to come on over to your page, create a strip, okay? You can just go ahead, add here, strip here at the top. And also I have a drop down, okay? So all you have to do is come over to input, and then you'll go over to the drop down here, and you can then drag this thing over, okay? And also an upload button. So if you go to upload for the advanced title, you can come here and drag one of these upload buttons over and style it however you want, okay? I'm not gonna go into that in depth, but I know that I talked with you guys in my last tutorial about downloading files from your database, right? Well, now I wanna go ahead and talk about how to upload images from your website, okay? So if you have like visitors that want to upload certain files into your database when they're contacting you, or when they're RSVPing, or any of these things that may be useful to upload a file, you can definitely do that here. And so basically I have come over here, got a drop down, got an upload button, and also I got an image here. Okay, this will just be my image to show, and then also my preloader. Basically, I went to this link here, and you guys can actually go to that link. I'll provide that in the website article for this tutorial. I just think that's a pretty cool GIF. That's pretty neat. But yes, so back to the uploading. So basically what we want to do here is we want to create a drop down menu. Okay, and how I created that drop down menu is I went to settings here. Okay, I created a placeholder text as select file type. Okay, I unchecked required because this doesn't have to be required. You don't want that red box showing up. And then also I went over to manage choices. So here I have all of my choices here. You can add multiple choices, and that'll give you a chance to just separate them by commas. And this is pretty neat. And then also you have your image, video, audio, and document, okay? So let's go ahead and dive right into the code. So now that I have my code here, now let's go ahead and review this. So basically what I did was I created a Dropdown OnChange event here. And as I talked about in my last video, definitely go check that out in the right-hand corner. I think it's a really nice video for you guys to know about how to use filters for your database. So definitely check that out. But basically I was talking about events, and basically I might just do another tutorial in the future about event handlers, okay? Because in this event handler, you can actually grab the target, and also the target would be this drop down, okay? This drop down element. And then all you have to do is say .value, okay? And then you say .lowercase so that you can get that lowercase item here, okay? So basically we're actually finding anything that does not equal select file type. All right, so select file type is right there, and that is gonna be our default to disable this button here. Okay, so as it collects that file type, it actually puts that value right here. That will then enable this button to pop up. So that way we're setting the file type for what's going to be uploaded, okay? That needs to be very important to know. All right. And if you do not want to do this whole process here, and you don't want to have a drop down box, all you can do is just come over here to your settings here, and then you can actually set that appropriately here. As you can see, image, video, this is for your gallery settings. And then this is for just the image, a video, document, or an audio. Okay, and then also you have the max number of files that you can put in here. We can set that to as many as you want, and it actually will be able to upload that amount of files. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust my code for this, but as of right now, I'm just going to just select one file. All right, I'll just keep this max number at 4 just to show you guys, that you can change that here. I definitely left this unchecked for required. It is not required. And then also I want to show the file info only, okay, right down here. And then also you can actually manage your visitors files right here. Okay, you can go ahead and click view uploaded files, or you can just head on over to the media manager. Definitely, I would say check out my tutorial on media manager. It's very helpful, and I think it explains a lot about what the new media manager is all about and how you can use it. So as you can see here, we have our uploaded button OnChange event, okay? And with this event, I'm actually using a sync process, okay? So this is gonna go step by step, and it's gonna wait for certain things to be finished, all right? So basically what we're gonna do here is we're gonna check to see if this upload button actually has any files in it, okay? So it'll be files.length is greater than 0. If there is a greater than 0, that means the site visitor has chose a file, all right? And then it's gonna show you what is updating, what the following things are being updated. And these will be files, and this will be an actual array. So just be mindful that files is an array. All right. So that value is an array of things. So now I want to go ahead and show my preloader. And that is this beautiful little GIF right here, showing that it is being uploaded into my database. All right. Now, this is where the tricky part comes in. What we're going to see is that we're going to do the upload files here, and we're going to use an await. All right, this await is actually saying, hey guys, stop what you're doing. Let's wait until this whole entire function is done. Okay, so this method right here, which I call it a function, but it's really a method. But this method that Wix has to offer for us will actually upload all of this information into our visitors files. Okay, so that means where you see in the media manager, but you will see that in this media manager, you will be able to see your visitors files as well. Or you can just go back and head on to the settings and then view the uploaded files there. Now, I love maps. And this method for arrays are really very useful, and it's very helpful because then you can skip right through all of the files. So whatever it is being uploaded, we're going to go through this in a mapping way so that we can pull out the names and also the sizes and if it is valid or not. Okay, sometimes this valid will show up undefined if there is no error. Okay, and then so here we can say let I equals 0. All right, and then I created a do while loop inside of this maps. Okay, so what it's going to do here is we're going to go through each upload file, and this is going to be the same structure and same line sequence as the files that you uploaded here. So all the files that you uploaded here will actually be shown in the upload files here. So this will actually help with what I was talking about, is the max number of files. So if this is 4 and you go through and you pick 4 of those things, then you're going to see that all 4 of these things are going to get updated here. All right, so that is just it. We're just going to put the OG name. I like to call it the OG name, the original name. And so we're going to go ahead and put that file name in there. Okay, that way we can track in our database what is going on. And then also the upload file size. We want to know what the size is. Sometimes, guys, we want to know what the size is so that we can limit the amount of memory that you guys are storing in your database, or whatever you may have like parameters on how many bytes you're supposed to have as a visitor, or how many bytes you have for a member, so you guys can actually mitigate how many files people can upload. All right, so just definitely check that out, and I will definitely go over that. All right, and so we're gonna just say I++, just so that it can run through all of these things here. And then we're gonna say I is less than upload files.length. All right, this is just getting the length of that array. All right, and then also this is going into that array and grabbing one value each time, all right, within this mapping. And what the mapping is doing is the same thing as this do while loop, but it's just a method that iterates through all of the array items. Okay, and so once we get that done, we want to go ahead and check to see if these uploaded files were able to give the OG name and the size correctly. All right, and so this will be like your mile marker or checker to make sure that things are getting pushed over into your database correctly. And so I have this map here again of this whole entire array list. And so within this array list, we're going to go ahead and do an async mapping, okay? And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna still show the preloader, and this shows up because what I'm going to show you is that every single time that one image gets uploaded, it's going to show onto this image profile here, into this image element. And so what we want to do is take that away and then show this image preloader to show you the next image if there is one, right? So that is why I have this image preloader here. All right, so as you can see here, I have this parameter here called save, and what this is doing is going to wait for my backend app to load this file. Okay, so it's going to load this individual file that is in here, and then we're going to get the event type, which is the event target file type, and that is this upload button right here. It's going to find that file type and it's going to place that thing right in here. This will be our options basically, so that we'll know exactly what we need to do on the back end. And I'll go into that in more detail in a few minutes. So now that we have this save parameter, it's going to save that into our database, which we'll call files here. And basically it's going to check and see if there's anything that was received back. Okay, we are always going to have something that receives back, but if it doesn't, it's going to not even do this. Okay, so if you guys want to put an else statement down here to actually see what else you want to put in there, just in case there is no return value, then go ahead and do that. But right now I'm not going to do that. So basically this save here, we have a result. All right, so this save.result is going to return a Boolean, okay, whether it be true or false. If it's false, it's going to go down here and it's going to say upload was successful, but the save was unsuccessful. And then we're going to give you the error and the stack message of where to find that error inside your code. Okay, now if it is successful, we're going to return true, and we're going to return the file URL, and this URL we will use for the image source. Okay, and then also for the alt and the tooltip, we're going to use the name, and then also the tooltip, I'm going to just show the width and the height of the image, and then also we're going to show them. And so what I have here is I have a set timeout, so that then every 3 seconds you're going to see a different image until it gets to the last image, and that last one you will see for the remainder of the video. So let's go ahead and head on over to the backend, because I'm importing in a backend and it brings in my modules information. All right, so we're going to head on over to our code files, and we're going to dev, and I'm going to go to files, and I'm going to go to app. All right, this app.jsw is a JavaScript web module. And so this web module is the middleman between your backend code and your front end code. Okay, so this is what merges the two together. So give me a second and let me go ahead and put that code down for you guys to see. So as you can see here, we're actually loading the file in here, and we're actually putting this into another app, which is going to be on the back end managed, and it's going to be a JS file. Now, I will say that in order to use JS files, you need to have a JSW, a web module. Okay, if you do not have a JavaScript web module, then this JS you cannot call straight from the page code. So you want to make sure that you have this connected to that backend JavaScript file, and this is what it is doing. It's pulling in this info, and it's also pulling in the option. All right, so the option, we said the type would be whatever the file type is for that upload button. And then also the info here is going to be the uploaded files that were just uploaded into your visitor's media manager. All right. So let's go ahead and head over to the manage. So as you can see here, we have the manage.js. All right. And so for this manage.js, what we're doing here is we're going to grab everything from the data, Wix data. All right. So that will be grabbing this information from the files. All right. And then also we're going to be grabbing Wix Media Backend. All right. So we're going to learn about Wix Media Backend and how we can successfully use this in order to provide more information for our database based on the image. Okay. So basically what's happening here is I created a try statement. And this try statement is easily just, making sure that anything that messes up within this try statement, within these two brackets here, it will return an error. And that is what I was talking about in the beginning when I was on the page code, is that the result here is going to be false. Okay. And so then we'll share with the visitor, or this will help you understand like where is the error happening. All right. So that is really good to know. Like I was saying before, in our options here, we're going to go ahead and get the type. If that options.type is not there, it's going to be considered blank. Okay. So then we're going to say type is equal to blank. But as for now, we know that we're specifically putting in a type, so nothing should change there. All right, so basically what I'm doing here with this file name split and original file name, I'm actually going into the file, replacing all of the periods and splitting them. Okay, so splitting them based off the period. All right, so once this splits based off of a period, because if the file name is there, we want to just get the file's name, not the .png or the .jpeg and stuff like that. So what this process is doing here is it's actually going into our file name split here, and we're going to go ahead and split that based off of the period. Then we're going to come over here to our file and we're going to name that parameter file name split. And so this is going to be an array of strings that are split up between the period. So now we're going to create this original file name as file info OG name. Yeah, the OG name. All right, so that is what we're going to be placing as this parameter here. So we're just going to go in here and get that information. Like I said before, this should have an OG name. If it doesn't have an OG name, then we can go ahead and put in a blank for that. Okay. So I have this if statement right here that says if the file name.split length is greater than 2, that means that there are more than 2 string items that are being separated. That means that you have more than 1 period, okay, period character. So that means that if it's more than 2, then we need to go ahead and splice that up, okay? And what splice is doing here is removing all of those elements from the array. All right, so it's going to remove the last element from the array, which would be the PNG, the JPEG, or the .xlsx for the Excel files, or the .mp4s for the audio files, and so on. So that is going to go ahead and splice that out of this array. And so then what's going to happen here is we're going to go ahead and say, well, the file name now is going to be file name.split. We're going to still look for that parameter. File name split.length is greater than 2. If that is true, then it's going to come here and we're going to join it back by the period. Okay, so we're going to place those periods back there based on the splitting. So this is basically pulling in all of the arrays and placing the periods back in its respective place without having the PNG there or the JPEG there and so on. If that is not the case, then we're just going to go ahead and pick the first one, and that'll be the first array item inside of the file name split. After we get all of that information situated, then what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if that the file info.file name is there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and check to see if the file name is there. All right, and as I have here in my documentation, I just wanted to change the file name to something else, which I did because I used the file name split here instead of actually file name, so that you guys can actually understand file name split is an array and then file name is a string item. And so as you can see here, we're going into the media info, media manager. Okay, and what we're doing here is we want to go in to find the file name. All right, so we're going to find the file information and we can have it available if needed. All right, so we're going to go ahead and place all of that stuff into our media manager info. And all that I'm doing here is that I'm putting things into the database accordingly. So I'm putting everything into this JSON object. And so this will get uploaded into our database, all right, based on these parameters. Just know that right here, if there's a file info.duration, if there is a duration, that means that it's an audio file or an MP4 or a video. You can see that this information will be put in to this info, all right, into this info object. And the way that you do this is you do info, then you do square brackets, and then you put in quotes what your field key will be, and then also make that equal to your value. What I'm doing here is going to be a little bit daunting and a little confusing at first, but I want to explain it to you because it's a very quick, simple way. So if you have a different field name than as is in the upload button section, as I do right here for document, I only just call it doc, okay? I don't really spell it all the way out in my database. So I want to make sure that I catch that. And so what I'm doing here is I'm going to the type that we got from the options, and I'm going to put that at a lowercase and see if it equals document. If it equals document, we're gonna set everything that's within these curly brackets to doc. And then anything else is going to be set to lowercase, and it's going to be of the file type of the upload button. All right, because I named everything except for document as the file type, as the field name. So as you can see here, we're going to go ahead and go back into our media manager info here, and we're going to get the file URL. That file URL will actually be the information that will display your image. All right. And now for the URL part. Now, this is a very customized approach here that I wanted to put in just in case like somebody wanted to just see the image or see the video. If they wanted to put it in an HTML format and display it in a certain way on their website, they can do that as well here instead of having to use the Wix format to display inside of these image boxes. All right. So this gives you a little bit more flexibility on how you can display your image. All right, and so let's go ahead and get down to the nitty-gritty stuff, which is to save this information. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our database name here in the first space, and then in the second space, what we're gonna do here is we're going to put in the info. All right, so that is that JSON object that I was talking about before, and this is what's gonna be put into our database. All right, and then this options TT is actually suppressing the authentication and also any other hooks that you might have on your data set. So as you can see up here, my options TT, I just created it and I said options TT because they're both true. So let's go ahead down here, and also it returns a object here. I'm doing the same thing as what I did on the page code, which is if this is something here, then go through and go ahead and share with me what that information is. So what I have here is what I put into the database and then what I got out of the database. So I'm returning the result as true, and that is it. All right, that's all they need to know. And that way this will then display the image. All right, so as you can see here, that is the whole process. If all of this stuff fails, okay, that there is no file name right here, what we're going to do is we're going to exit out of that and come down to this else statement and throw a no file name string. And this string will go to our catch error message, okay? And this result will be false, and then we'll give an error, and it will show us where that error has shown, which would be on 64, line 64 within the manage.js file. All right, so that is pretty much all of it. And let's go ahead and preview this bad boy. All right, so let's go ahead and select a file type. I'm just gonna go with image right now. And let me go ahead and upload an image. And now it's uploading that thing, and now it's saving. As you can see, we've got the name of it, we've got the size, and we got it as undefined for the valid. All right. And as you can see now, the GIF has been saved. All right. Upload and save were successful. And then also we have the image, the file URL right here to return back to share with our image. And as you can see, our tooltip, if it would show up, is 64 by 64. That is our height and our width. Okay. Awesome. This thing actually worked out. And now let's go ahead and head into the database and see how that information got plopped in. Also, I just wanted to go ahead and state that the following files that were getting uploaded are only one, and it would be the name and the size here. Okay. As you can see, that is what's inside of this upload. Once we go ahead and initiate upload files that we had as an await within that async function, what we can see here is what we've done is we've put the file name in there. We've gotten the file URL. We've got the height, the width, the original file name, the OG name. All right. Shout out to the OGs. And also we have the size here. All right. So as you can see, it actually put in the information in the right succinct order. So let's just go ahead back to our database, and we're going to go to databases, and we're going to go back to our database. All right. And as you can see from our last video, definitely check that out in the thumbnail. But basically in my last video, I went over how to download these images. So now, as you can see, my image got uploaded. The title is here. Then as we see here, it is placed in the image field. Okay, so that is why I had that whole entire ternary conditional statement there, so that then it could figure out which one is a doc. Okay, and then also the rest of them will be history, image, video, and audio. All right, as you can see, the file name has been put in there. The OG file name has been put in there as well. And as you can see, it took out the GIF and just placed 358 within there for the file name. And also is searchable is off right now. I did not want that to be searched because maybe a visitor uploads something onto the site and you want to go ahead and review it before it's been searchable. You can do that and go ahead and click that on or off, like set it to active or not. As you can see, our width is 64. Okay. And then also here is the URL. So if you come to this URL, and you just click inside of it and you click this open link, it will actually open it to the GIF itself. All right, so that you can do whatever you want with this URL. All right, as you can see, we have the size here, which is 6983. Okay, and that is in byte, not megabytes, but in bytes. All right, and then also we have our media manager info. And so this will give you more information about your image, okay? How Wix has put this into their database, all right? So if you need any more information on the image itself based on Wix criteria, you can definitely go ahead into this media manager info and find that information here. So before we end on a good note, what we want to do here is come back over to our media manager. So we're going to come back over to our media manager and we're going to just go to upload files. All right. And so what we're going to do here is it's going to bring up our media manager. And as you can see, we have our site files here, and then we have our visitor uploads. In our visitor uploads, as you can see, I've uploaded many other things here, but as you can see, our GIF has been uploaded in here. And we can go ahead and add these to our bookmarks or do whatever we want to do here. And also you can just go ahead and see all of these new useful things that Media Manager has to offer. Like I said, I have it in my information box in the right hand corner, so definitely go ahead and check out that video about the content manager just to see more information about that. Okay, now if you guys had a hard time following this tutorial, I would definitely highly advise you guys to head on over to my website for further explanation of the code, and the link will be in the description below. And before you go, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more great tutorials every weekend. Also, check out my website to find other tips and tricks about Wix. This helps us do what we do, and this channel is supported by viewers just like you. Want to see more content? You can always click on the thumbnail above and watch another video from this channel. See you in the next video, guys. All right, ciao.